I'm thinking about adding this footnote to something I did earlier, a video I was making. I was saying that you, I'm not sure if I addressed you in the video. I was saying she, referring to you. uh, the person I was talking about, um, I was saying that she may be considered a bisexual when she's not one. And here's something that I have not said anything about for 3.5 years. I don't know if I've been aware that long, but I noticed that she appears to be wearing. Did you see how embarrassed I am to say this? A toe ring. A ring around one of her toes. Now, I am no ladies' man, and I'm no relationships man, and I'm. When it comes to women, let's face it, man. Well, the way I describe myself is I'm basically Tarzan of the Apes. I'm out of it completely. Now, I've been in a kind of solitary confinement, what I've said about myself, so I know all about people who have tattoos. Way back when, I think it was probably in the 1980s, people were getting an earring. Men were getting an earring in one or two ears, and at the time, it seemed to have some kind of a meaning. Like, if you had an earring in his left ear, it meant one thing. You had it in your right. Oh, for God's sake. Well, I didn't pay any attention. Okay. I wasn't going to get an earring. Okay. Tattoos. Now, I'm off on tangents when I wanted to talk about the toe ring. I'm embarrassed to talk about that. Now, she clearly has a toe ring on. And like I say, I don't know anything about these rings. I haven't heard that, if you have the toe ring on the left foot or whatever, I don't know. So, in fact, I don't know which foot it is. Let me try to think. Which foot is it? I don't remember. She has a toe ring on, it's clear. Now, um, uh, although I'm completely unfamiliar with this kind of thing, and I've never known a woman who wore one, I think in personal experience, well, look, I don't look at women's feet, okay, when I'm out in public. I just don't. So, if women are wearing this, I wouldn't know. Okay, I wouldn't know. And I got to say, it took a while to notice that she or you, however I'm addressing you or her, it took me a while to consciously acknowledge, even though I was seeing that ring there on the foot. Why was I seeing it on the foot? I'm looking for a way to say that I was doing this without seeming like a weirdo. I was combing over pictures. I've been combing over pictures of you for 3.5 years like a scholar. Or here's a metaphor I've been using. I'm Jane Goodall in Africa watching a community of chimps that nobody studied before the way Jane Goodall studied chimps. So she's out in the wilderness and she's pretty well unaccepted in the scientific community. And she's there observing everything she can observe about those chimps, apes, or whatever they are. By the way, I saw Jane Goodall. She came to the Constitution, DAR, Constitution Hall. DAR means Daughter of the American Revolution. I'm going off on tangents. Anyway, DAR, Constitution Hall in D.C. Graduations are held there and so on, and also ceremonies like this and concerts, symphonies, and so on. It's a real nice place, really nice. And so my mother had these season tickets to National Geographic lectures. And one of the lectures was by Jane Goodall, and my mother and I went to that together, and I saw Jane Goodall talking there up on the stage about her research in Africa a long time ago when I was around, I don't know, 14, 15 years old, some around then. Well, what was I talking about? I'm talking about this toe ring. Okay, so I noticed that you, or however this is, am I saying, I'm not talking to the person herself, I'm talking like about the person. I noticed she had a toe ring on because I was poring over photos of her uh, to understand her, because she dresses symbolically uh, often. And so from, looking at these pictures, sometimes she had this kind of shoe on, that kind of shoe. I didn't see much in the symbolism of shoes on her. She wasn't trying to express herself much there. But when she was wearing, how do you say this, shoes that showed her feet, I see that she's got a toe ring on. I just happened to notice. So what does that toe ring mean? Well, immediately it suggests to me a possible lesbian, possible bisexual, or a wild woman of some kind who's wild. I don't want to use other words because they're way too negative. I don't want to even associate these words with her. So with you. So I'm saying, if this woman is being falsely accused as a bisexual, let's look at it this way, okay? Let's say she's in a work environment where she's not particularly how do I say this, on friendly terms with coworkers for various reasons. One is she enters this work world when she's very young and innocent, and she's got this fantastic job as this young, innocent, let's call her a girl. Even though she might have been like 28, she looked like she was 16, 17 in what I've seen. So I'm calling her a girl, okay? And she's this innocent, nice girl, and she's got this fantastic job in the broadcasting business. And maybe for that reason, she was encountering a lot of conflict among coworkers who felt, why does this kid here have this great job and somebody else doesn't have it, and this kind of thing. So she has this great job and she's going along and she's not getting what she wants in her personal life. And maybe along the way or before, she had some kind of same-sex experience of one kind or another, and somehow that got out or was suspected by others. And so she's in a work climate, let's call it, where things are not, simpatico. They're not friendly, really. They're professional, let's call them. They're kind of formal, and they're not on friends type terms. Okay, so as she enters this nonverbal battle of jealousies and envies and angers that exist around her, she's finding that she's rebellious. Why? I'm saying this is a person who grew up in a deaf household. This is a daughter of deaf parents. I'm saying that she has to be. Now, what's the most characteristic thing that I've noticed about deaf people, and I'm not the only one, okay? They have a rebellious quality, deaf people do. And what do you read about the famous deaf artist Goya, that he was a revolutionary painter because he was deaf. He was extremely rebellious in many ways in the kind of subjects he chose to portray as a painter. Okay, and this rebellious stubbornness and this uh, well, what I all I just said, it's characteristic of deaf people. It really is. Uh, so, in my opinion, and I'm just me, okay, but just me was a visiting student at Gallaudet University, the only liberal arts university in the world for deaf people. And I'm a lifetime member of the Alumni Association of Gallaudet. And I did real well there, and I've been married to a deaf woman for over 30 years. So I do speak with some authority when I say that rebelliousness is a kind of built-in uh, what do you call this? Uh, a built-in characteristic of what you might call deaf character. Okay, so being rebellious in this way, having been raised in a deaf household, she starts to wear a toe ring as a sign of rebellion. She's not a lesbian, she's not a bisexual, but she's in this environment where she feels accused. So I said, okay, you saying I'm this? Here's a toe ring. I'll wear this. And I'm just saying that she may be a bisexual. Well, if she is, what's wrong with that, right? As long as she's obeying laws about consenting adults and sexuality and all, who's going to say no to that? Or if she's a lesbian, even. These days, and going back in history, there have been lesbians as long as there have been human beings. Some of them very famous lesbians. So we're going to say no to lesbians, lesbianism. No, we're not. Okay, so she's got this toe ring, and I was going to make a point about the toe ring, saying that the toe ring is a kind of suggestive symbol that she might be a bisexual. And that's why she wears that toe ring, because uh, they're very rare. I mean, I don't look at women's feet, but I have seen a lot of pictures of naked women because I like looking at pictures like that. I like to look at pictures of what I would believe to be attractive women in the buff. Starved as I am sexually, I've been in solitary confinement, so what I call this vicarious experience of sexuality, I call it eating crumbs off the rich man's table. Meaning, my sex is I get to look at pictures of naked women online. These are the crumbs off the rich man's table. The rich man is out having a relationship with real women, and what I get are the crumbs. He took a few photographs of the women and threw them online, and I'm eating them up. That's my sexual appetite getting satisfied by crumbs, pictures. So I've seen plenty of pictures, and you don't see toe rings on these women ever. That's all. So where are toe rings? They're nowhere. You don't see them, and so everything I've been saying about toe rings is that they suggest some kind of alternate sexuality, a bisexuality, a lesbianism, a wild woman sex adventurer, like a Don Juan among women. Okay, so she has a toe ring on at one point. Now, I can go deeper here about what she was wearing along with that toe ring. It's very important what she had on in this particular uh, appearance where she has a toe ring on. What was she wearing? Well, let me continue. This recording is already 15 minutes long, which means it's far longer than what our son tells me anybody in this present day world is going to be looking at. However, I keep saying these videos are for her, even though I'm referring to her in the third person. I got to be careful about being sued by her or by her employer or God knows who. I got to worry about that. False accusations, I'm harassing her. So, I keep her identity as hidden as I can keep it and still let her know if she's seeing these videos that I am talking about her in ways that she should find flattering, that somebody likes her this much. I mean her no ill will. I like her. So let me pause a second, collect my thoughts. What I may do is stop this video, say this is part one, and continue these thoughts in part two. Because let me see if I'm going to see, maybe I'll do that.